Welcome to ASTRALX, illuminating your cosmic path. With me, Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist, and Lunaria Selene, your intuitive guide, we'll be delving into the profound influence of the stars on your life. Have you ever felt like two different forces are at play within you? Imagine those forces amplified. That's what we're going to explore today.
It is fascinating, isn't it, how two powerful forces, Sagittarius rising and Aries sun, can interact.
Absolutely. So picture this, someone with a Sagittarius rising always seeking new horizons, paired with the boldness of an Aries sun.
Oh, a truly dynamic combination, but sometimes those very energies might clash.
Right. Okay, so let's break this down. For someone with Sagittarius rising, what are we looking at in terms of personality?
Well, a Sagittarius rising woman, she typically just radiates this bright, open aura, adventurous, optimistic, freedom-loving, and always on a quest for truth. She's drawn to exploring new cultures, expanding her knowledge, and wants to experience life to the fullest.
Wow, that's quite a picture. So we've got this incredible zest for life, breaking free from conventions. Then layer in that Aries sun influence.
Yes, exactly. The Aries sun, it just adds fuel to that fire.
Oh, how about?
It brings passion, courage, independence, and a real pioneering spirit. So this woman, she's a natural leader, you see, driven to take action, blaze her own trail.
Okay, so it's like this internal engine constantly revving, always pushing her forward, fearlessly pursuing her passions. But hold on, with these two strong forces, could there be a conflict brewing?
Oh, absolutely. There is potential for some inner conflict. The Sagittarius's need for freedom, it might clash with the Aries' desire for action and leadership, so she may struggle with feeling tied down, restricted, even if it's by, her own goals and ambitions.
Oh, that's a tricky situation. It sounds like a delicate balancing act.
Yes, it is.
She needs to honor both her need for independence and that desire to make things happen in the world.
Precisely. And this is where the astrological influences of 2025 come in. Think of it like, well, they're like guides.
Okay, interesting.
They're highlighting these key areas where this whole balancing act becomes, the most crucial.
So it's like a cosmic spotlight on these specific areas. All right, let's dive right into these astrological influences then. What are the major cosmic players shaping her year?
Well, one of the most significant influences is Saturn's transit through the third and fourth houses.
Now, for those who aren't familiar with houses in astrology, can you give us a quick breakdown?
Sure. So houses in astrology, they represent different areas of life.
Gotcha. So like a cosmic map, with each house representing a different part of our experience.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Now, the third house, this one governs communication, learning, short-distance travel.
Interesting.
It's about how we connect with our immediate surroundings, how we express ourselves to the world.
Okay, so then we've got Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure, moving through this house. What kind of impact can she expect?
Well, Saturn in the third house, it often calls for a reassessment of our communication style. It might bring challenges in expressing ourselves clearly. It can also bring a need to just refine how we communicate.
So for our Sagittarius rising, Aries sun woman, this could be a time to, to become more assertive, to really own her voice and speak her truth, even if it feels, well, uncomfortable.
Absolutely. You're spot on. Finding that balance between the Sagittarius need for, freedom of expression and that Aries desire to really take charge and be heard.
And then we have Saturn moving into the fourth house. And that governs, remind me again.
Home, family, emotional security.
Okay, right. So what does this shift bring into the picture?
So the fourth house, these one's about our roots, our sense of belonging, the foundation we build for ourselves. And Saturn's transit here, well, it can bring up issues related to family dynamics, things from our early childhood, or the need to create a stable home environment.
So a time for introspection, exploring the foundation upon which her sense of self is built.
Precisely. And for someone with a Sagittarius rising, this can be challenging.
How so?
Because remember, they naturally crave freedom, independence.
It's like being asked to reconcile this desire for adventure and exploration with the need for a stable home base.
Exactly right. And this transit can also bring up old emotional wounds, maybe unresolved family issues that need to be addressed.
Intense. But I imagine also incredibly transformative.
Oh, it is.
It's like this opportunity to heal and build a solid foundation.
Absolutely. It's important to remember, though, Saturn's influence, it's not about, punishment.
No, of course not.
It's about growth, maturity, building a stronger, more resilient sense of self.
So it's tough, but ultimately it's about creating a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. But amidst all this introspection and restructuring, 2025 also throws in a thrilling, well, wild card, I'd say.
Ooh, I love a good wild card. What is it?
Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is going to be residing in the 7th house of partnerships.
Now, this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got this intense period of personal growth happening, and at the same time, Jupiter's opening doors for new connections.
Precisely. The 7th house, it's all about those one-on-one relationships. Romantic partnerships, business collaborations, even close friendships. And Jupiter's presence, it magnifies all of that energy around these connections.
So it's not just about, like, finding a romantic partner. It's also about the entire network, finding people to work with, building relationships that really support her growth.
Exactly. Think new partnerships, friendships blossoming, even the possibility of marriage or deeper commitments for those who are ready.
It's like the universe saying, hey, do the inner work, but also open yourself up to love and connection. Let yourself be surprised by the people who might come into your life.
Beautifully put. And I'll share this. I recently worked with a client, Sarah, also a Sagittarius rising, Aries sun woman. She was feeling lost, uncertain about her path. And then she met someone, a Leo, someone who completely shifted her perspective. It really ignited her passion and inspired her to pursue her dreams.
Wow, a true Jupiter in the 7th house experience. That's so inspiring.
It is.
Especially for any single Sagittarius rising Aries sun women listening.
Right.
This could be their year.
It could. And remember, Jupiter expands what's already there. So if you're already in a relationship, this transit can deepen that connection. It can bring more joy and abundance to the partnership.
That's beautiful. It's like this cosmic blessing on all her relationships.
It is.
But with so much focus on partnerships, what about her own needs and desires? Where does that fit in?
That's a crucial point, and that's actually where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, perfect.
We'll explore how she can balance her independent nature with her desire for connection, and we'll see how this interplay of energies will impact her health and well-being in 2025. For the Sagittarius rising, Aries sun woman.
Now, when we left off, we were talking about Jupiter's influence in partnerships, how it can bring these exciting new connections, deepen existing bonds. But I'm curious about something. Given the Sagittarius rising's strong desire for freedom, could this emphasis on partnerships feel, I don't know, a little overwhelming for her?
Oh, that's a great question. It is something to, be mindful of because remember, Sagittarius risings, they thrive on independence, exploration. Too much togetherness can make them feel stifled.
Right. So then how could she navigate this potential conflict between her need for freedom and that pull towards, deeper connection?
Well, communication is key.
Of course.
It's about setting clear boundaries, expressing her needs honestly within those relationships. And the good news is that with Saturn transiting her 3rd house early in the year, she'll have a chance to refine those communication skills.
So Saturn, which we often associate with challenges, it's actually giving her the tools she needs to navigate this.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Saturn's energy, it's all about discipline, structure. And in this case, it's helping her build this framework for communication, allowing her to express her needs authentically while, also honoring the needs of her partners.
Oh, I see. So Saturn's like saying, yes, you crave freedom, but real freedom comes from understanding.
Precisely. Now, let's shift gears for a moment. Let's talk about another important aspect of her 2025 forecast.
Okay.
Health and well-being.
Yeah.
Remember, we talked about the potential for stress because of Saturn's transit through those 3rd and 4th houses.
Right. So while Jupiter is bringing these opportunities for expansion and connection, Saturn's reminding her, to take care of herself.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Saturn's energy, it's like a cosmic personal trainer, pushing her to build strength, resilience.
I love that analogy. So what are some specific areas she should focus on in 2025?
Well, one key area is stress management. The combination of Sagittarius rising and Aries sun, it creates this dynamic, energetic personality. But it can also lead to burnout.
So even though she's naturally high energy, she needs to be mindful of pushing herself too hard.
Absolutely. Incorporating practices that help her unwind, recharge. Think meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, anything that brings her a sense of peace.
And, for someone who's constantly on the go, like a Sagittarius rising, Finding that stillness might be a challenge in itself.
It can be, but that's where discipline comes in. Remember Saturn's influence.
Right.
It's reminding her that self-care isn't a luxury.
No.
It's a necessity. It's about carving out time for herself, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Like scheduling that meeting with yourself, making it a non-negotiable.
Exactly. And speaking of prioritizing, let's talk about another important aspect of well-being.
Okay.
Physical activity.
Oh, right.
Both Sagittarius and Aries, they're high energy signs. So finding a physical outlet is crucial.
Release that tension.
Yes.
So we're thinking like running, hiking, dancing, anything that gets her moving.
Precisely. And this year, with Jupiter in the 7th house, she might even find enjoyment in, partnering up for exercise.
Oh, like classes or maybe joining a sports team.
Exactly. It's about combining her love of movement with that opportunity for connection, collaboration.
Now, when we talk about Aries sun specifically, are there any health considerations that come to mind?
Well, Aries rules the head, so headaches, migraines, those are something to be mindful of, especially during those times of high stress.
So it's not just about physical well-being, but also like paying attention to her body, those signals that she might be getting.
Exactly. Tuning into her body's wisdom, seeking professional help when needed.
So we've talked about stress management, physical activity, potential health considerations. What about diet and sleep? Those must play a role, right?
Oh, absolutely. A balanced diet is crucial, for providing her with the energy she needs to keep up with her busy lifestyle. Focus on nutrient-rich foods, whole grains, fruits, vegetables.
And sleep, I imagine, for someone who's always going, that's got to be important too.
Definitely. Creating a relaxing bedtime routine, aiming for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, it'll do wonders for her overall well-being.
It sounds like, a holistic approach to well-being is really key here. It's not just one area, but it's about creating a lifestyle that supports her on every level.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that all these aspects of well-being, they're interconnected.
Right.
When she takes care of her physical body, her mind and emotions benefit.
It's that ripple effect, where positive choices in one area create benefits in others.
Precisely. Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to touch on one more aspect of her 2025 forecast.
All right.
Compatibility and connection.
Ah, yes. Back to relationships.
Right.
With Jupiter in that 7th house, I'm really curious to know, which astrological signs are most compatible with her Sagittarius rising Aries sun energy?
Great question. Generally speaking, fire and air signs tend to resonate well with Sagittarius risings. I think Aries, Leo, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius.
So people who, share her zest for life, her love of adventure,
Yes.
that intellectual curiosity.
Exactly. These signs, they tend to appreciate her need for freedom, independence, and, they also offer excitement and stimulation, which she craves.
Right, okay. But what about earth and water signs? Are those relationships, I don't know, are they doomed?
Not necessarily, but they might require, a little more effort, understanding to really navigate them successfully.
Because, their differences, priorities, and approaches to life can be challenging.
Yeah. For example, a Sagittarius rising might clash with, a Taurus's need for stability routine, or find it difficult to connect with, say, a Cancer's emotional depth.
Right, okay. So it's not that these relationships are impossible, but compromise is key.
Exactly. And remember, this applies not just to romantic relationships, but also friendships, collaborations.
So even if she's not, specifically looking for a romantic partner, she can still benefit from this knowledge
Exactly.
to build strong relationships in all areas of her life.
Exactly. Now, speaking of building, let's shift our focus to finances. What does 2025 hold for her in terms of money and abundance?
That's always a good question.
This is where we see this really fascinating interplay between her natural tendencies and the astrological influences.
Okay, so what are her natural tendencies when it comes to money?
Well, Sagittarius risings, they're known for their ability to manifest money
Well,
almost effortlessly. They attract opportunities, and they often experience abundance in their lives.
that's great.
It is, but, there can be a catch.
What's that?
They also tend to enjoy spending money.
No.
They prioritize experiences, immediate gratification, over long-term savings.
So it's like this constant flow, coming in, going out.
Exactly. And that's where the need for balance comes in. While she might have this natural gift for attracting wealth, she also needs to develop discipline.
Right.
a plan for managing those finances.
Especially with, all the other things happening in 2025.
Precisely. The sources we reviewed suggest that this year it could present opportunities for both spending and making money.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Get it?
Potential to increase her income, but she also needs to be careful not to overspend.
Exactly. And that's where the influence of Saturn, the planet of discipline and responsibility, it can actually be helpful.
So even though it's bringing challenges in other areas of her life, it's also, helping her manage her money.
Precisely. It's a reminder that even though she's naturally abundant, it's still important to create a budget, track her spending, make conscious choices.
So it's not about restriction,
No.
but being mindful,
Yes.
finding that sustainable balance
Exactly.
between spending, saving.
Exactly. And that balance, it'll look different for everyone,
Of course.
depending on their individual circumstances, their financial goals.
So it's about making those informed decisions that are right for her.
Exactly. Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to emphasize one key takeaway.
Okay.
Self-awareness. With all these potent energies at play in 2025, it's crucial for her to pay attention to her own internal compass.
So tuning into her intuition, noticing how she's responding to the things that are happening.
Precisely. The more self-aware she becomes, the better equipped she'll be to navigate, the year ahead.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about harnessing the power of the stars,
Yeah.
but also remembering, she has the free will to make choices.
Exactly. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll delve deeper into this concept of self-empowerment, explore how she can use these astrological insights
Perfect.
to create a truly fulfilling and meaningful 2025.
To the final part of our deep dive into the 2025 astrological forecast for the Sagittarius rising Aries sun woman.
We have, haven't we?
Yeah.
Covered so much ground, exploring her inherent nature and those cosmic energies shaping her year.
It has been quite a journey. We've explored everything from, the possibility of new relationships to the importance of self-care, financial well-being.
It's all connected.
Right.
And now, as we reach the culmination of our exploration, it's time to kind of bring it all together.
Yes. Like a guiding light for her for this year. So as she embarks on this new year, what are the key takeaways? What can illuminate her path forward?
I think one of the most important things for her to remember is that she has this beautiful duality.
Ah, yes. That adventurous Sagittarius rising.
Yeah.
Combined with that bold, action-oriented Aries sun.
Exactly. This duality, it gives her a unique blend of independence and drive. She's a free spirit, but also a natural leader. The key is, finding a way to honor both of those sides.
It's finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Between soaring high, but staying grounded.
Yeah.
Exploring, but also nurturing her roots.
Beautifully put. And that balance extends to all areas of her life, from her relationships to her career to just her personal growth.
So, practically speaking, how can she apply this principle of balance?
One way is through conscious communication. Remember Saturn transiting that third house earlier? It's highlighting that importance of expressing her needs and desires clearly.
Right, so not just speaking her truth, but also listening, to others, creating harmony in her interactions.
Precisely. And then as Saturn shifts into the fourth house, the focus moves to creating that secure foundation in her home life with her family.
Right. This is where, again, it's that reconciliation between her need for freedom and that desire for stability, connection.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to create that sense of belonging without feeling restricted,
So this might look like, what? Setting boundaries in her relationships, creating a home environment that feels both nurturing and inspiring, maybe even exploring her family history.
Yeah, those are all great examples.
Okay.
And remember, Jupiter's presence in the seventh house throughout the year, that adds, another layer to this whole balancing act.
Oh, right. Bringing those opportunities for new relationships.
Yes.
Collaborations. But it's important to remember those boundaries.
Absolutely. Jupiter's energy, it expands, everything it touches. So
Yeah.
it's really crucial that she's discerning.
Okay, so embrace that abundance that Jupiter's bringing, but stay true to herself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another key takeaway: prioritizing self-care. With all of those energies at play in 2025, it's essential that she creates a sustainable lifestyle.
So we're talking about those practices like meditation, yoga, being out in nature, those things that help her recharge, reconnect.
Precisely. And it's about nourishing her body, with a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, listening to those signals.
It's about treating herself with the same care that she would give to, a close friend.
Beautifully said. And this leads us to another important aspect of her journey in 2025, embracing her feminine power.
Ah, yes. Owning her strength, independence, that unique perspective.
Exactly. That combination of Sagittarius rising and Aries sun, it creates such a fierce, adventurous spirit. It's about stepping into that power with confidence, grace, knowing that she can create the life she desires.
And that doesn't mean, like, pushing away those softer qualities, like nurturing, compassion,
No, not at all. It's about integrating all of those parts of herself.
bringing it all together.
Yes.
Okay.
And that brings us to the final piece of guidance I have for our Sagittarius rising, Aries sun woman. Trust your intuition.
That inner voice that whispers wisdom even when things feel chaotic.
Exactly. The Sagittarius rising's innate wisdom combined with the Aries sun's fiery passion, it creates such a powerful internal compass.
It's having the courage to follow her heart even when the path ahead feels uncertain.
Precisely. And remember, she's not alone on this journey. The universe is supporting her, offering opportunities for growth, connection, fulfillment.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's that final message we want to leave her with?
Embrace the duality, find balance, trust your intuition, and know that you have the power to create an extraordinary life in 2025 and beyond.
That's beautiful. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this cosmic exploration. Until next time, may your journey be filled with purpose, passion, and of course, endless possibilities.